50 croons. Heart pumps blood, changing that would kill us, / Kyle is on fire. Okay.
Hold on.
Phipps,
Eat it out.
5 pounds. It is all. If all of nature and mankind's laws are laying out in a preconceived plan, that is progressively revealed, then why have the Bible in the first place?
Oh, my grandma's calling me right now.
Tell her hi.
This is not the time to talk to grandma.
Puffalopagus, $2, and he's so happy that I can pronounce his name now correctly. We found an apologist worse than Ken Hovind. No, I'm not going to go that far. Look at Ken is,
He was way worse than Ken Hovind. No, way worse than Ken Hovind.
You got to take things as an aggregate, right? In this particular, I don't know if I could go that far.
He's worse than George Lujack. He was worse than George Lujack.
No,
100%.
George,
100%.
Don't take away my bottom of the barrel, George. Come on, really?
Nope.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Absolutely, he does. Absolutely, he does.
Duke, but we'll make that into a poll. Who was worse, George Lujack or this guy? Duke Bonanza, $5. So if God based the rules on society, he must be beholden to human whim and society. I don't think that was the argument they were making, but I'm not quite sure. Brant, $5. Happy for the content on your day off even. Thank you, Brant. We also have, again, tonight, we have the after show on my channel. We also got this channel, and Jimmy's channel is going to be at home. And then tomorrow we also got things planned as well. So much for having weekends. Brian Neal, 2 shows tomorrow, yeah. Brian Neal, $5. Hi, peeps. Ask the Christards why they complicate the obvious coming out of their text. Honestly, I think that's an apologetic tactic. I've seen many times when people want to argue from a place where they know they don't have a strong position, they take things out very tangentially. They bring up things that just have nothing to do with the core and crux of the argument. In this particular case, this is exactly what Joshua was doing. I got to tell you, maybe I'm going to have to go back and listen to a lot of this video over again. And if you guys watch this after the fact, comment on this, please, in the video description. But not 90% of what he had to say had nothing to do with any of the context of the conversation or points being made or topic of any kind. It was basically, I read this book. I have this name over here. I didn't see really any engagement on the points being made. Did you, Kyle? I mean, did you get that impression that it's just
because he doesn't have points? It boils down to this: they get backed into a corner with a hard reality, which is this time it happened to be slavery, and they dance around the issue until they get to the point where they're like, okay, we've gone so far off the topic. Let's move away from it. They try to do everything that they can to not admit that, yes, if God's real, he fucked it up this time. He got it wrong. You shouldn't own people. He should have said so. Instead, he was worried about who was sleeping with who, what kind of what skin you cut off of little boys' penises, and mixed linen and fabric. He was worried about all of that shit, just not the owning of people. They let that slide. I mean, this is not a God that minded what the people were feeling at the time, or what they couldn't handle. This was a guy that sent tornadoes of fire and turned people into salt, drowned the entire planet in a global flood. He doesn't care about what you can handle and what you can't handle. The fact is, he condones slavery. Period. You can't dance around that, I don't think.
Yeah, the narrative that they're putting forward is not the typical narrative of the deity that's described in the Old Testament, I would think.
Yeah,
but
let's not forget, that it's okay.
Go
ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say let's just not forget that it's okay to own people, but he draws the line at shellfish.
Correct. Yeah, mixed fabric, butt sex between the gays, all that stuff.
No. God cares a lot about butt sex. Yeah. Lars Nielsen, 200 krones. I think that's $20. I think, or something like that. Only Christians can go so low that they seriously start claiming that the slaves had it better than slaves rather than free. I don't know if it's just Christians. I mean, I see a lot of people, in a lot of cases, they really try to rationalize things. And when you have things that the rest of us find to be morally egregious, they will try to rationalize it in a perspective from their own viewpoint, and I think that extends way beyond just slavery. But it is pretty bad when you start arguing certain things because you get entrenched in this position. I've seen somebody argue that slavery was actually a good thing only because God had commanded it. At that point, you've lost all moral high ground with me. You really have. I mean, would you really want to even address somebody who says that slavery is good because God, for either commanded or allowed it or regulated it? I don't know how that. Shit. It makes no sense to me, right? I mean,
they're full of shit. They can't admit that one thing will be wrong because it negates the entire book. That's why it's so obviously flawed and untrue. I mean, it's sickeningly untrue. Like to even believe that that's a possibility is laughable to me. I mean, it's laughable.
Okay, Duke Bonanza, $5. Great question. Why didn't God teach calculus, physics, and germ theory of disease? Yeah, instead of teaching things like we walk with dinosaurs and that there was 6,600 different kinds on the ark. I would have been happier if we had started calculus 4,000 years ago. We would have been a lot more further along in our society. Would you agree?
Yeah, but Steve, he said that they weren't ready to hear about owning people, but they're ready to hear about calculus. Like that.
Yeah,
what is he talking about?
I've never heard that apologetic before, so that's new. Reserved 100, $10. How can you expect to have flat oceans and no wind or any such things? God made certain rules on which whole galaxies run. You can't expect God stopping all diarrheas in the world for slavery. Okay. I can't parse that out very well, but thank you, though. Duke Bonanza, $5. Yes, religion has been dragged forward by modernity. Exactly. I don't get when people argue from things that 100 years ago, 200 years ago. If I hear one more person talk about Darwin, right, or one more person talk about Nikola Tesla, all great geniuses for who they were during the time, and who knows what they would have accomplished if they were in modernity. But to argue something, he brought up Aristotelian type things. I hate to tell people, but Aristotelian logic is flawed. That's why they don't use Aristotelian logic. There's problems with it. Go look at the square of opposition. There's issues with Aristotelian. We moved past that.
Not only was his logic flawed, his conclusions were flawed.
Yes.
Plus, all those guys are busy helping develop cell phone. I mean, don't they know that? Like, why would he even invoke them? Nikola Tesla and Albert Einstein are working closely with.
Yeah, they're busy. They're busy in the afterlife. Yeah.
Cell phone.
Yeah, they don't have time for this. Wellington Smith, $2. Jesus didn't condemn slavery. Paul confirmed it. That's a good point, too. We didn't even touch into that. Jesus himself did not really talk about a lot of things. He didn't talk about slavery. He didn't talk about homosexuality. These were nothing that Jesus gave a shit about if you really read the New Testament that way, right? If they're that big and concerned that he wanted people today to be against this stuff, I honestly think that somebody like Jesus would have mentioned it.
He was too busy walking on water and turning water into wine and multiplying bread and doing carpenter things, Steve, obviously.
Hey, somebody wants to know if a cell phone guys will ever return for an actual demonstration. Kyle, you're on top of something like that. Yeah, I doubt it too, but
I'm trying to get Dr. Schwartz, and because he's the man that knows the technical details and what's going on. I would like for Mark to come back with Dr. Schwartz if he wants to. I don't think he will, because I don't think it went very well for him, but I would be more than happy to have him back. I still have more questions that obviously
Yeah, somebody disagreed.
But yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah. Brown coat, $5 Aussie. So God can say, yo, people, don't eat shrimp, for reasons. But hey, don't eat people. Don't eat people. Don't own people. Sorry. Don't own people.
Yeah, that either.
That either. That was too complex to get across. Yeah.
Although they make that case, though, Steve. This is my flesh. This is my blood. They're all fine with eating people. Cannibalism's okay.
Transubstantiation. I gotta say, I mean, just I hate to do this, but using just reason and logic, transubstantiation is a form of cannibalism. I don't like to bring it down to those kind of base levels because me, I steel man people. I really do look for the best in their argument. I don't see how that's an escapable conclusion to me, though. How is it not? If according to transubstantiation, the way they argue it, right, a physical, actual change in the physiochemical properties of that wafer, that would be a form of cannibalism.
I'll tell you how, Steve.
I don't like those kind of arguments.
I'll tell you how, Steve.
I can't see any way around that.
Here's how they justify that, like they do everything else. Because it's coming from God, it's fine. Slavery coming from God, fine. Who are we to argue?
That's special pleading.
Cannibalism.
That's special pleading.
I'm just telling you what it is.
Yeah,
of course
weird.
it is. It makes no sense. But because God does it, it's fine. Who are we to, us lowly people that he created, who are we to challenge the all-powerful cannibal, slave-owning God?
It would be different if they said, yes, it's cannibalism and God allows it. That's not special pleading. But to say that it's not cannibalism because God allows it, that's special pleading. Because you're no longer saying it is what it is because of something else. But yeah, it's weird. Kaj, 50 DKK kroners. Question to all. Do you see any beneficial potential in the ideas of communism, socialism? Also, could any of you pronounce my name better than Greater Sapien? Kaj, I'm going to say this. Kaj Fromke? Is that close? Kaj Fromke? Sure. I don't know how Greater Sapien pronounced it. Kaj, second, the last name, Framke. So I'm going to say Kaj Fromke. But anyways, do I see any potential for? Yeah, actually, I'll go on a limb here. I'm going to take this one first. There are some benefits to communism. Matter of fact, there's two kind of forms of communism: it's low C and capital C and lowercase c. The original people that came over here from Plymouth Rock had a form of communism, as I learned it in school. Now, again, I don't get into these kind of discussions very much. I don't know that much about politics of this kind, but the way I understand communism, at least on a small scale, actually works pretty decently. It's when you get to the big C and the state type of communism where it falls apart completely. So if you're asking if there's any potential benefit of having communism on a very small scale, I would have to say, from my understanding, yes. But anybody else want to touch that question?
I think there's good things in anything. You can find some good in anything. Overall, I think it's horrible.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that too. All right, that's it for the super chats. Yeah. Wow, that was a hell of a show.
Yeah.
This was fun, guys.
That was definitely great.
Oh, got two more. Sorry, one more. I refreshed. Quick, two more. Real fast, knock them out of the way. Nate Brody, aka MP, NonSequitur is the best. Steve is an atheist. Thanks.
We know.
Yeah. Not your witness. Not your witness. $4.20. Blue shirt sucks. Russ needed more time. Boo Kyle.
Who's Russ?
I'm Russ.
That's Russ. Okay, there you go.
Oh.
Since my first name is Frustrated, he shortened it to Russ.
Gotcha.
Got it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree. Russ, it happens. I'm sorry, Russ.
Yeah.
I kind of almost expected that.
Well, what you did well.
I didn't see what threw us off, I think, was that we weren't all on the same page when we started.
Oh, yeah.
I think they came in, the three of them came in with a different topic, in mind, and that's why it kind of went off the rails. But I just couldn't, the level to which it got, I couldn't keep it in anymore. I tried my best. Usually I'm pretty good at holding my tongue back, but I couldn't today. I'm frustrated.
No, trust me.
We got to wrap this up. One last one that just came in. Brant, $13.68. Thank you, Brant. If the guys from SoFone are really talking to Tesla, don't you think he'd be keeping up with technology and telling their mediums about new iPhone, what the new iPhones to include? Yes, I do. I think Tesla would probably be.
So now
go. Let's do it.
We're going to let Frustrated Atheist wrap up his thoughts on today and make any last points that he wants to, and also plug his channel and social media following and all of that. So, Frustrated Atheist, whenever you're ready, sir, the floor is yours.
Alrighty. Again, this was completely and utterly a shit show, and I do agree that it was probably because the fact that we didn't have a all-together understanding on what the topic was in the beginning. But when it came to slavery, I agree with Kyle again. You can't exactly keep your mouth closed whenever someone is factually wrong like that. So it was just a complete and utter, I don't want to say waste of time, because we did have a lot of good dialogue between all of us, but and to answer some of the people who might have